Photoshop can be used to create literally anything. And one of the things I really love creating, pattern designs. So how to create something like this? Well, let's start right at the beginning. So layer and flatten image, edit and fill. I'm just going to fill it with white. And that's a start point. Now the start point for the gradient, what you need to do, just go over here and use the rectangle marquee tool. So select that, just drag down there. Now you can feather it, of course. You can add a feather, you can see there, feather setting. Perfectly reasonable to add 2 or 3 or 10. But also what you can do, just go to the gradient tool and you can go with a classic gradient. Now you could of course go with gradient there. That's the new default, but classic gradient I think is a better option. And I'm just going to go with a very basic black to white. So black to white, linear and normal. And just drag from top to bottom. Now if you do this, hold down the shift, go straight from top to bottom. This will not work. What you need to do is create that gradient, but just slightly angle it. If you don't do that, you will not get a gradient that's the size of that selection. So just slight angle. You can then go to edit menu and down to define pattern. And you can see then you get this pattern. Now the size, you just hover over here and it will say you just 126. If you just gone for straight down, it will just be 1, which really isn't that great. You can use it to create some interesting designs, but it's not what I want. So click OK. So it's stored away as a pattern design. Now, of course, you can create all kinds of different gradients. Want a good option here? Just go up here, blend modes, and go with difference, and then just add another one, maybe a different angle, and so on. You can apply it a couple of times. Again, edit, and then down there to define pattern. So you can save another one. And you can save 10 or 50 of these, and click OK. So at this point, let's create the actual pattern itself. So I'm just going to go edit and fill. Again, just set it back to white, click OK. I want to create these on layers. So a layer and new and layer. And the reason for that, I want to add a drop shadow. So click OK, then go to edit and fill. Once you've done that, make certain you go for the pattern option. Pattern option just brings in a whole range of different options. Really should not be ignored. Of course, most times probably you want to fill it with a colour, but patterns, literally infinite designs can be created. Just go down here and you've got custom patterns. Now you can see I've got loads of patterns already in there. Also got loads of my old graphic extras ones as well. Well, I'm just going to go with the one I've just created there. So there it is. And now once it's there, make certain the script is on and go with symmetry fill. You've got brick fill, really good. Cross weave, placed on, all excellent. But the one I want, symmetry fill. And click OK. And then make certain the pattern scale is its max. Unfortunately, for some weird reason, it's only 1.25. And that's for number 7. You've got a whole range of options. Really worth checking some of these out. Some are better than others. So number 7 is the one I really like, but number 8 is pretty good as well, number 9, etc. And then you can go with these settings. Now just set them to what you want. You don't have to go with 31 or 44. Go for anything you want. But I'm just going with that now. So click OK and it will be applied. Now it fills the entire layer. So of course at this point, if I apply down here, if I go down to the effects or go to layer, layer style and drop shadow, you won't see it. Of course, if you resize the document, resize the layer, you will. And click OK. You can just about see the shadow up here. Now go to layer and new again and layer. Click OK. Edit and fill. And again, use exactly the same thing. But this time, change the setting for the pattern scale. Now you can change the other settings, perfectly reasonable. But what I want to do is just reduce pattern scale down. So maybe make it 1.1. Click OK. You can see now you've got a pattern design here. Again, layer and down to layer style and drop shadow. And again, you can now see a bit more shadow. Click OK. You don't have to change shadow. Then again, just repeat this, say 5, 10 times. So layer, new and layer, click OK. and then edit and fill. Exactly the same, and click OK. And this time, instead of that, maybe reduce it down to say 0.98. Click OK. Exactly the same, layer, layer style, and drop shadow. And you can see now you got that. And click OK. So I've created quite a few now. So with all these layers, you can of course still move these. You don't have to keep them in the same place. So make sure you select it, go to the move tool, and then you can reposition it. So you can just create all kinds of different designs that way. One real big disappointment with Photoshop is if you go and select these, say you select 2 or 3 of these layers, or maybe all of them. Then you go to layer and layer style. You can't change all the layer styles all at one go. Why they don't have that feature baffles, but it doesn't. So you have to manually go and change all the layer styles for each of the shadows, etc. But also what you can do is, of course, you can always distort the design. So you can select this one, and then you can just transform it. So edit and transform, and maybe go for perspective I should say, or maybe go for warp. So warp, and you can just distort this design. So just modify that. You can see as you distort it, you can see obviously more or less of the other designs, and press return. And you can do the same. Simply go to this layer, and again go to edit, transform, and obviously do maybe the same, but also go for warp, and then maybe distort it in a different way. And you can see another sort of design can be very quickly created. And press return again, and so on. So these designs can be modified, but they can also be modified with maybe effects as well. Filter, and you can go maybe to go blur, Gaussian blur, so you can just blur one. You don't have to have them all exactly the same. Sort of some can be blurred, some can be changed. Also, you can always go and add a layer style or another layer and new adjustment layer, or you can turn it into a smart object. So layer, go down here to smart objects, convert to smart object. Once you've done that, you can just go to image, go to adjustments, and you've got options here: hue and saturation, color balance, etc. So hue and saturation, maybe colorize, and then hue, change the lightness, saturation, etc. Click OK. So then you can maybe go for a red, green, blue, etc. Different designs as well. Hope you found this tutorial of interest. Any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to hear from you. A like or dislike, always appreciated. I'm always adding new videos about Affinity Photo, Photoshop, and many other applications. So please subscribe. Bye.